Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem.
The referees literally turned their back.
Caitlin Clark appears to be hunted every game. She deals with physicality that no other player in the league is dealing with. The WNBA not stepping in to protect their cash cow, their only draw, their only star. And this is the end.
They said she'd change the game, the future of the league, the rising star everyone was watching. But just a few games in, it wasn't the players or the pressure that stood in her way, it was the league itself. Caitlin Clark went from being the WNBA's brightest new hope to the most targeted player on the court.
Shocking. Caitlin Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks
with a quad injury.
Has emerged how Caitlin Clark
fouls her for the 4th time. It's cheating.
Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the interest in the Fever and the interest in the WNBA.
Rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several
And it wasn't just the opposing teams. This went way beyond the usual rookie struggles. What we saw felt deliberate and a whole lot more serious.
Every single game, WNBA players, fans, coaches are all complaining about the referees, and they have shown that they're not going to change anything because the referees continue to be.
After game, Caitlin took hard hits, got knocked down, and kept playing through whistle after whistle that never came. The referees, the ones meant to keep things fair, stood there, saying nothing, doing nothing. What started as a few missed calls quickly turned into a pattern, with obvious fouls completely ignored as Clark hit the floor. Comment Protect CC below if you've had enough of this.
Head coach Stephanie White. She was complaining about her team not getting a whistle, not being
Then came the moment fans feared. Caitlin was sidelined with a quad injury. Suddenly, people started looking back. Every foul that was ignored, every shove that went unchecked, every look she gave the refs, hoping for a whistle that never came. It all started to add up.
Be out for 2 weeks minimum following a quad strain.
Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham going to the officials and trying to, ask for an explanation of what had just occurred. That official could.
At that point, it didn't feel like bad luck anymore. It felt intentional. And just as the public outcry hit its peak, explosive new reports started exposing serious problems with the league's officiating.
WNBA problem. And as more and more eyeballs are watching this league, it becomes growingly an issue. The officiating feels you never have a true grasp.
Turns out, many of the league's referees were pulled straight from high school games. Seriously. And here's the kicker. They're not even making the calls themselves. Instead, a behind-the-scenes group of GMs, coaches, and league insiders are telling them exactly how physical they want the games to be.
Listening to them. They're not listening to the coaches. They're not listening to the players. They're not listening to the fans. They're listening to their stakeholders. That's why I keep saying nothing is going to change till the mindset and whoever's running all of this, the stakeholders.
And right at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, caught in the crossfire where power, pride, and money all collide. Now, after weeks of growing outrage, viral clips flooding social media, and even coaches and players speaking out, the WNBA is finally starting to feel the heat.
Injury does anything. It should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear.
With talk of lawsuits and growing rumors of referee bias, the league's biggest star could suddenly become its biggest risk. And now, the million-dollar question is this. How far will the WNBA go to silence the very player they've been cashing in on from the start?
Is being roughed up, but the physical wear and tear on Caitlin Clark, I'm not surprised that 2 weeks into the season,
Caitlin Clark has never been one to shy away from pressure. At Iowa, she broke records, packed arenas, and turned women's basketball into must-watch TV. So when she stepped into the WNBA, fans expected fireworks, not just from her game, but from the wave of energy she was bringing to a league hungry for its big moment.
2024 was a year of unprecedented growth in viewership in the WNBA, a substantial amount of which can be attributed to Caitlin Clark, who took the basketball world by storm after an all-time college career.
Who had appeared in 185 consecutive games between her career at Iowa and her time with the Indiana Fever. 139 games with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She never.
For a while, it looked like things were clicking. Attendance jumped, TV ratings hit new highs. But instead of a warm welcome, Clark faced elbows, pushback, and cold shoulders right from the get-go.
Caitlin Clark, somebody who was responsible for 26.5 of all WNBA economic activity last season, including revenue from merchandise, ticket sales, and television.
Caitlin Clark out at least 2 weeks waited, but can the WNBA maintain without her? Can the WNBA pack arenas?
From the moment Caitlin hit the pro court, it wasn't just basketball anymore. It got personal. Every game felt like a battle. Defenders didn't just guard her. They hit her like it was UFC night. She faced non-stop pressure, hard fouls, and rough contact, more like rugby than basketball. And the refs? Nowhere to be found. Calls that any other star would get were ignored when it came to Clark. Time after time, she had to grit her teeth and push through.
Just exposed her hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. They have an agenda.
Through it all, the league kept pushing the same old line. She just needs to adjust. But why is it always her who has to change? Why is Caitlin Clark the only star told to toughen up while others get protected like royalty? Then came the injury. After playing huge minutes, often over 35 a game, Caitlin was sidelined with a left quad strain, out for at least 2 weeks.
Said the reason that people are complaining is because they haven't watched the WNBA before, and these are just new fans who don't understand. But there's clearly...
This wasn't just a setback. It was a tough blow to the Indiana Fever and a big loss for the whole WNBA. For many fans, it didn't feel like a simple accident. It felt like the price of neglect, the result of a season full of rough play, and a league that didn't step up to protect the player who was keeping the spotlight alive.
The Fever guard, Caitlin Clark, has suffered a left quadricep strain and will be out for a minimum of...
This wasn't just bad luck. It was a preventable disaster. What hurt most was the silence. The league didn't say a word about the beatings Caitlin Clark took. No statements, no apologies. Just another injury on the list. But this wasn't just any player. This was the face of the WNBA's future, sidelined not because she couldn't handle the pressure, but because the system that should have protected her looked the other way.
It's the Caitlin Clark disrespect. And what I mean by that is you've got somebody who is obviously the most popular player in basketball. You got somebody that I would argue may be a top 5 most popular athlete in the United States of America. All right. You got this athlete in a league that nobody's been watching, never turned a profit, and your system is broken again.
Even those closest to her felt it. Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin's teammate, quietly urged her to listen to her body. A subtle sign that Caitlin was pushing through pain most wouldn't ignore. Fans saw it. The media called it out. And now the big question is, why was the league's brightest star left so exposed? And who really benefits from keeping her there?
Kelsey Mitchell said even if there is a injury, hopefully it's just, like a little nagging thing. And again,
take care of your body and just make sure you... I think recovery is everything. I think if you're in tune to your body, you know what you need.
Looking closer at WNBA officiating reveals a serious problem. Many referees aren't just inexperienced. They're underqualified. A lot came straight from high school games, skipping important steps like college or the NBA G League. These aren't veterans with years under their belt. They're learning on the job, calling some of the league's toughest games. This lack of experience is clear, especially when it comes to handling the league's biggest star, Caitlin Clark.
And they do not talk about it here. And that's why I also don't want us to personally attack some of these referees. I think they're doing their job. If they're hiring referees who basically didn't have any experience but high school refereeing jobs, and then they did a stint in the G League, like, these referees actually aren't. I gained and reconfirmed with myself that.
But it gets even more complicated. These referees aren't calling the games based on their own judgment. Behind the scenes, a competition committee, made up of coaches, general managers, and league insiders, decides how games should be officiated. These aren't neutral officials. They have their own interests. This isn't just rumor. League insiders have confirmed it. Referees are told how much contact to allow, which fouls to ignore, and what style of play fits the league's image, not what's actually fair on the court.
Committee for stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers, and that is saying what style of basketball they want to allow, and the referees are